Hello everyone, my name is Braden, this is Airless Cool 9, and in today's video, we are going to talk about the Sculpted Sentinels hidden in plain sight. We're going to be talking about Gargoyles. So, the Gargoyles are very interesting in 2024, and I am excited to talk about them. So, we're going to go ahead and get straight into the description about Gargoyles and what they're all about. Gargoyles are sculptures inhabited by elemental spirits. Wings and magic allow their heavy stone bodies to fly, and they often perch where they can blend in amid ornate architecture, rock formations, or mundane statues. Gargoyles usually serve the magic users who conjured them into their bodies, but if left to their own devices, they might play cruel pranks and steal treasures to hoard in lofty lairs. Gargoyles can have a variety of appearances. We are given a table in the 2024 Monster Manual called the Gargoyle Sculptures Table. This is a table that we can roll on to inspire how a gargoyle looks. There are 6 options on this table. The first of these states that the gargoyle could be sculpted to appear as a cherubic with perpetually smiling features. It could be crudely hewn or naturally formed. It could be damaged or marred by mismatched pieces. It could be dragon-like with polished stone scales. It could be gothically fiendish with horns and a tail, as we see most gargoyles depicted. And it could also be useful like an ornate podium or a pillar, which is quite interesting to think of. We're also given an additional section in the 2024 Monster Manual called Gargoyle Ambushes. This states that gargoyles seek to ambush foes or creatures that trespass on their territories. With no biological needs and supernatural patience, these monsters might wait unmoving for months, revealing themselves only when conditions are perfect to attack. They tend to lurk where statuary seems commonplace, or where terrain obscures the shape and color of their bodies. The table that we can roll on to help inspire where a gargoyle sets up an ambush is the Gargoyle Camouflage table. This is a 1d8 table, and this states that the gargoyle conceals itself amidst burls and bark on a giant tree, monuments in a graveyard or memorial, outcroppings on a cliff or rock formation, the petrified victims of a basilisk or medusa, which is quite an interesting idea, reliefs on a sculpted gate or wall, which is also very interesting, rubble in a ruin or junkyard, stalactites or icicles in a cavern ceiling, statuary on a castle, mansion, or temple, which only makes sense. It also makes me think, even though they didn't truly state it here, that gargoyles may not necessarily be made of stone. Since these are, well, they are stated to be made of stone, but it makes me think that perhaps some gargoyles could be made of different elemental materials. Specifically, maybe the idea of a gargoyle concealing itself amid burls and bark on a giant tree means that there could possibly be a gargoyle that's made entirely of wood. So that's something interesting to think about. But I have wasted enough time, so we're going to go ahead and talk about the 2024 Gargoyle stat block. Alright, so here's the Gargoyle. It is a medium elemental, chaotic evil in alignment. They have an armor class of 15, an initiative of +2. They have 67 hit points, a speed of 30 feet, and a fly speed of 60 feet. For their ability scores, they have a strength of 15, a dexterity of 11, a constitution of 16, an intelligence of 6, a wisdom of 11, and a charisma of 7. They have +4 to stealth as a skill. For their immunities, they are immune to poison damage, as well as the exhaustion, frightened, the exhaustion, petrified, and poison conditions. They have dark vision of 60 feet and a passive perception of 10. They know Primordial Terran as a language. And they have a challenge rating of 2 and experience points of 450, as well as proficiency bonus of +2. In 2024, the Gargoyle has the Flyby trait. This states that it doesn't provoke an opportunity attack when it flies out of an enemy's reach. And in the action section of the Gargoyle does have a multi-attack, allowing it to make 2 claw attacks. And a claw is a melee attack roll with a +4 to hit in a reach of 5 feet. And on a hit, it deals 2d4 + 2 slashing damage. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about what changes have been made to the Gargoyle from its 2014 iteration. So, there are a few things to note here, as you can see by these little boxes that I've added onto the screen. The hit points have been increased. In 2014, the Gargoyle had 52 hit points, and now in 2024, they have 67. This is because they have gained 2 additional hit dice. They did lose resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks that aren't from adamantine weapons, so that is something to note, and that is indeed why they have had a hit point increase, because they no longer have that resistance since it is mundane in 2024 rules. Nothing is really affected by resistance to non-magical attacks, so that is why that resistance has been removed, and that is now why the Gargoyle has additional hit points. Now, in 2014, the Gargoyle had a trait called False Appearance, which stated as long as it remained motionless, it was imperceivable to detect that it wasn't a statue. That trait has been entirely removed, and I haven't really seen it anywhere in the 2024 Monster Manual at all, since it's really just a stylistic trait and a flavorful one at that. However, what I didn't expect was for the Gargoyle now to have the Flyby trait in 2024. This is an amazing trait because this allows the Gargoyle to fly into melee, make its attacks, and then fly back out without provoking opportunity attacks. So this makes the Gargoyle a pretty effective ambusher, and it is going to make it very dependent on aerial combat, since it can get in and out of melee with its flyby trait. And it is going to be wanting to do that every turn now, because that is how it is going to remain in combat. Now, we have also seen some changes in the action section. In 2014, the Gargoyle also had a bite attack, and this was a part of its multi-attack, which allowed it to make 1 bite attack and 1 claw attack, and on average, those 2 attacks dealt 10 damage. Now, in 2024, they've completely removed the bite attack, and just have focused on the claw attack. However, the multi-attack in 2024 now allows it to make 2 claw attacks, and the average damage of these claw attacks is 14, since it can make 2 of these. So overall, the Gargoyle has also seen a average damage increase because of this change, which is quite nice to see. I didn't expect them to buff it in all of these areas, but yeah, the Gargoyle is a much scarier combatant than it was in 2014 now. I am especially impressed by giving it the flyby trait. I feel like this makes the Gargoyle such a scarier combatant than it was before. And honestly, I would be terrified to fight multiple Gargoyles in a single fight, because there you can just fly into melee, tear people up with their claws, and then fly back out without any repercussions whatsoever. So yeah, this is especially good. The Gargoyle is so much better in 2024, and I really am impressed with these changes. I'm very happy with what they did, and I think everyone should use this new stat block. This is just a much better combatant as a Gargoyle, and I feel like this should be the default going forth. Even if you're running 2014 Dungeons and Dragons, I feel like you should use this new Gargoyle because this is just so much better. And even though it lost the false appearance trait, you as the Dungeon Master can still state that it is not perceivable to be a creature unless it's moving, which makes perfect sense. That's why they gave it the stealth skill in the first place, because it is hiding in plain sight. And that's really what makes Gargoyles scary. So yeah, quite happy with this stat block, and I'm very excited to use this in a future game. But yeah, that's going to be it for this particular video. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed it, which I hope you did. We are going through every monster in the 2024 Monster Manual, and those videos are releasing every weekday, so keep an eye out for these videos as we go through every monster in the 2024 Monster Manual. Until the next video, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.